like have an exit plan as to kind of, so I thought to myself, okay, I lost everything. I don't have any money. What would I do? And if for me at this time, I would choose to just be flexible and figure it out, whether that's I'm going into workaway to do workaway, or I'm, just figuring out like, like being frugal, being very flexible, being adaptable. So I think.
Hey everyone, my name is Kirsten and welcome to my channel. I am a money mindset coach for Black and brown women, and pretty much I help women change their mindset around money so that they can bring more income, make more money, and live a life of true financial freedom. And I'm so excited for today's video because I'm interviewing Aminah, who is a wonderful, powerful woman who has been living in Ecuador. And we're going to paint a clear picture on the financial mindset, expectation, the financial life of someone living abroad. And a lot of the times, the reason why I'm doing this video is because a lot of the people that I've spoken to, a lot of the women that I've coached, they all have the same fear of, what if I go to another country, I move abroad, and I run out of money? There's so much worry and stress around the money. But so if money is something that you've been worrying about and it's been stopping you from moving abroad, then this is a video for you. Make sure if you like the video that you click the subscribe button and also the notification button so that you can get more money and mindset videos from me. And if anything, I feel like there's a ton of aha moments in this interview, a ton of just great nuggets and just goodness. So comment below your aha moment, comment below something that really stood out to you and something that you're going to try to do, because I always believe that, you have to take action towards your dream. So comment below something that stood out to you in this video and something that you want to try after watching this video. Enjoy. Okay. Ready. Hi, Aminah. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm excited to have you on my YouTube channel. So if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you moved to Ecuador.
Yes, of course. And thank you so much for having me. Hi, everyone. My name is Aminah. I am a recent expat, moved abroad from the United States to Monte, Ecuador, where I currently live now. A little bit about me, I am 24, so I moved abroad when I was 23 last year during the COVID-19 pandemic, which was a really wild time. And to answer the question, why Ecuador, which is a question I get all the time, which I usually don't like this question, but if I'm being honest, I think it was kind of an intuition thing. Between about 3 weeks from the time I decided on Ecuador to when I got on the plane was the time span that I had. So it kind of was just something that after looking at Facebook groups and different things and solidifying that my goal was to leave the United States, Ecuador just felt right and I went for it. I just took that leap. So yeah.
Love it. How brave of you. And I like that, it just felt right to you. You didn't hesitate. You didn't, overthink it. You kind of just did what you felt right and you trusted yourself. And that's amazing. Congratulations.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. So we all know that moving abroad, obviously, takes some money. You have to save. There are some preparations. And so can you tell us a little bit about what was the process like for saving money to move abroad? Did you sell your things? Did you work extra hours? How did you financially prepare yourself for this move?
So luckily for me, the year before when I studied abroad in Thailand, I had kind of learned the magic of budgeting, because I was then in another situation where, especially at that time, because I wasn't making much money, I was still working, I was still in school, really didn't have a lot of resources to make it happen. So I had to go on a really strict budget. So luckily I kind of had some of those tools that a mentor that I have has given me. But my process for moving abroad to Ecuador was, number one, creating, I would say for me, a strict budget. Pretty much if it wasn't a necessity or a cost that was specific to, like I said, something I needed, I kind of just either minimized it or I kind of try to cut it out completely. Doing things like giving myself an allowance. So like a set amount of money each month where this is the amount of money I can spend if I want to eat out, if I want to buy clothes, if I want to do things that are not necessarily a necessity. Other things I did was sell some of my things on Facebook Marketplace. That was very helpful. It also was kind of fun. I think it was kind of a way that I was like, because when I was preparing to move abroad, I was looking at all these things I had, and I'm like, okay, I don't really necessarily need things, but my thought process was, if I'm going to leave for a year, because at the time that was my plan. I don't know when I'm going back as of now. I told myself, okay, is this either going to be still good? Is this going to be useful? Or is this going to be actually like something meaningful to me in a year? Because also the thing is, you change as a person within a year, especially when you're traveling and stuff. So a lot of those things I didn't, either I gave away, I donated it, or I just sold it on Facebook Marketplace. And also at the time, I was working full time as a COVID-19 contact tracer. So kind of like the strict budget and pretty much any amount of money that I could put away for this like venture or whatever is kind of what I did. But it was overwhelming at times, but it definitely was fun. I loved like trying to find like, oh, I made $10 extra, or this, I saved this much money, so this can go to this. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it, but it was overwhelming at times.
Yeah, definitely. But I love that like mental shift that you had of kind of, obviously it is overwhelming to have to create these strict budgets for yourself and only limit like how much you can go out or how much you can spend on food to eat and things like that. But I think that you made the process so much easier for yourself by making it fun and kind of getting excited of like, yes, I said, this is $10 towards Ecuador, or this is $50 towards, my plane ticket. So I think that's really important for people to know that like, if you're going through this process and it sounds kind of overwhelming or intimidating to have to save a certain amount of money, that once you make that mindset switch and kind of like, this is fun, I'm excited about it, it can make the process easier.
Yes, I agree. I think having a goal
There you go.
is the thing. It really helps a lot.
Absolutely. So obviously, a lot of people that I've talked to and a lot of people that I've worked with and coached, they're usually the number one fear about moving abroad is like money. What if I run out of money? What if I don't have enough money? So you probably have experienced that too, as well as myself. So to tell us a little bit more about some of those fears and doubts that you've had around money.
So honestly, when I first was doing it, my biggest fears and my doubts were, number one, I was scared I wasn't going to make a goal. Because one thing I did to find my own comfort or find my own sense of stability with when it comes to money is I set a number that I was like, okay, if I can save or make this much money by this date, I'm going. This is the number I'm comfortable with, because to be transparent, I came here with like no opportunities, no job. Like I came here, no job, no nothing, just with my nest that I created with saving. So I was scared I wasn't going to make that goal. Also, I was scared that I was going to run out of money abroad and just be homeless, or have to like find my way back to the US some way or something like that. So I guess those mindsets or my fears kind of came from a place of scarcity, thinking that, I wouldn't be able to do it, or something's going to happen that's catastrophic and just going to cause like, the most bad of the bad, like worst case scenario. So I think those are kind of my fears around that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a lot of people's, because when you go on your savings and you don't have an active income, we're also used to getting that paycheck every month from a job, and then we don't have that. We always go to worst case scenario. Oh, we're going to be homeless, we're going to be on the street. And yeah, so those are very real fears. And so what helped you kind of move past those fears, or like there's that expression, feel the fear and do it anyway, obviously is what you did. So how were you able to get to that point?
For me, I think it was number one. I think for me, and I mean, I don't recommend this for everyone, but I kind of welcomed in the worst case scenarios. I really thought to myself, what would be the worst case scenario for Aminah? Like, if I go here, like, what is the worst thing that in my head will happen? And for me, a lot of times it came up like, my accounts would get hacked, I lost all my money, or I would lose everything somehow, or I don't know, I would just go out of control and spend all my money and have nothing. And I kind of welcomed in those thoughts. I was like, okay, now that I have these, what would I do? Like, what can I put in place to kind of make myself feel better, or put safety nets in place, or what is going to be my plan? So I think number one is planning. Would be my advice. And also, like, have an exit plan as to kind of, so I thought to myself, okay, I lost everything. I don't have any money. What would I do? And for me, at this time, I would choose to just be flexible and figure it out, whether that's I'm going into work away to do work away, or I'm, just figuring out, like, like being frugal, being very flexible, being adaptable. So I think is making that decision of, okay, in this situation, what would I do? And then I think another safety net that I implemented was I left not a lot of money, but enough for like a plane ticket with a family member in the United States. And for me, that kind of still gives me, even to this day, a certain level of comfort, because I'm like, at the very least, if I lose everything, I don't have access to my accounts, it got hacked, or whatever the case may be. I have someone in the States that I trust that he can either just straight buy me the ticket and send me the information, or can send me that money to somewhere so I can have it and figure things out.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And I'm a really big advocate of that too, of going to the worst case scenario, going to like, what if the worst thing possibly could happen? How would I react? What would I do next? And I think that a lot of people are kind of have those thoughts, but they're afraid to, like you said, welcome those thoughts. They're afraid to kind of sit with those thoughts and sit with those feelings, because it doesn't feel good, obviously. It feels uncomfortable. Yeah. But it allows you, like you said, to make that plan. It allows you to see what those possibilities are. And it, just because you think those thoughts, it doesn't mean that it's actually going to happen. Just because you think that your accounts are going to get hacked doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. But it allows you to remind yourself that you're going to be okay. Like, you're going to be okay, and you're going to figure it out. Like, I think I said on another video, like, you're not on fire. Like, I think a lot of times we treat those incidences like, oh my God, I'm on fire, but you're not on fire, which means that you can think about things, you can figure things out, and you can find a solution to whatever problem that you might have.
Exactly. I agree. It's kind of making that decision of, but the thing is, I think it's different for each person.
It is.
Because for some people like me, I'm younger, I'm kind of, I got all my muscles and my bones and everything moving right. So like, if I had to, like, I could like do some random job somewhere and like to make money or whatever. So it's like making that decision, like, okay, in this situation, am I leaving? Am I figuring out? Am I doing something else? And making that decision, and like realizing, because I think for me, that's a big thing I have to remember in this journey is it will work out. Like, no matter what, like somehow, some way, like it has to work out, because I didn't come this far to only come this far. I didn't come all the way to Ecuador just to be homeless. Like, somehow, some way, it will manifest its way to being better somehow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, always. And I think that when we let go of like the outcome, because we kind of are so focused on like what's going to happen, when we kind of let go and just trust ourselves and, trust the universe, God, whoever we might believe in, things always work out, things. And I think if you look back on our own lives and we kind of see all the stuff that we've been through, or like, hey, that worked out. I got out of that crappy relationship, or I got out of that crappy job. So if I can get through those things, of course you can get through what's going to come next.
Exactly.
Excellent. So what were some like money habits that you had before moving abroad? Like, you kind of mentioned it a little bit before about kind of creating a budget and giving yourself like spending limits and allowances. But was there any other kind of money habits that you tried to start before you moved abroad, or have changed since you moved abroad?
Before I moved abroad, I was definitely like, I love being frugal. Like I said, I found like, finding new ways to save money or make money, obviously legal. Like,
I'll say that. Yeah. Disclaimer.
Like finding new ways. Like, I think my mentor, Nicole, she gave me a lot of great insights into like, because she still does it now. Like she will buy something from Goodwill that's like kind of cheap, and then like try to just sell it on Facebook Marketplace to see if it like kicks, and then she find out like she sold dog gates for the longest time and like was making like extra money on that. So like just seeing all the possibilities of how to do things, and like just seeing money as more of a resource and less about like a reward. Because I think that was a big mentality shift for me that I made a long time ago. Was that money, I think when I came from a place of scarcity, which is like with my background is understandable, when I would get my paycheck when I was in college, I would see like, you earned this as a reward, so I'll go take it and spend it at Starbucks and spend it here, spend it there, spend it there, and not see that like this is a resource. This is something you can use for pleasure, for fun, but this is also something that can open up to other things like that you need or you want, like, and you can invest it and you can save it, and there's like, it's a resource. So I think before I love the saving, that budget aspect of it. I found it fun. To be honest, I think when it came to money, what happened for me, what changed my mindset, which was unfortunate, which I'm trying to get back to now, is I kind of lost sight of my goals connected to money. I've always had goals and yearly goals of how much I want to save by this time. And I feel like I kind of lost that once I moved abroad, and I'm now in Ecuador. So that's kind of sad, but I'm getting back to it now. I'm in the process.
It's just a journey. It's a journey, you know. Sometimes you go up and down, and
it's not linear.
Exactly. I love that, and I think that's so powerful. And I like, if anyone can take anything away from this video, I think that, you know, money is a resource and not a reward. And actually, I wrote an article about that. It hasn't come out yet, but I didn't use the word resource. I like the word resource, but I talked about how I think, you know, we're so conditioned, especially in like a capitalistic society, where like money is a reward. It's like, okay, I got paid, let me go buy the most expensive thing, or let me go, you know, to the bar, let me go buy, you know, something fancy, because we think that's what we're supposed to use money for. But like you said, it can be something that opens doors for you. It can be an opportunity. Money can help you get to an opportunity. It can get you a plane ticket. It can get you into a conference to meet other people. Yeah, and so looking at money as a resource, not a reward, I think is such a powerful mental shift there.
Yes.
Excellent. So in your life in Ecuador, what is like the culture around money? Like, I know when I moved to Panama, like everything was very much around like cash, you know, coming from the United States. I'm used to like, oh, I can Venmo, I can swipe, I can, you know, everyone has like an ATM machine or like a credit card machine. And then getting to Panama and like everything's like cash, like, you know, even to the point where like I couldn't even take a taxi without paying cash. So what is it like, the culture around money like in Ecuador? Is it cash only? Are there different types of currencies? What is it like there?
So here in Ecuador, they use actually USD. There was an economic depression in 1999, which caused them to change their currency to now USD. So everything is mostly cash and coins. Actually, they use the dollar coin. I should have picked one up before I sat down for the interview to show everyone, but yeah, they use mostly cash and things like that. You can use card at some like more established places here, but it's most like cash is king pretty much here.
Yeah.
Like a lot of places like that you buy things are either like small mercados or like little la tiendas or whatever like that. So they're not gonna have like a whole like card thing, and if they do, it usually comes with a fee. So I think not only is it more accessible to use cash, but it usually is. You'll save more money using cash here. But for someone, if they're thinking about coming to Ecuador, I will say to bring small bills, something under 20, because there was a history of a lot of counterfeiting here. So those like 50s, 100s aren't really accepted. So definitely suggest bringing small bills if you can. 1s and 5s are great for those taxis and things like that. And as far as the mentality here, people, there's not really a big focus on like buying things or expensive things. Like, don't get me wrong, the malls were packed like around Christmas time and things like that. But I think since this is a country where, you know, there are people that don't make a lot of money, like the minimum wage is like $400 a month. I think that there is not as much value. There's nowhere near as much value on just money as we see in the US. Like it's definitely different.
Yeah, I like the suggestion about smaller bills. Like, that reminds me of when I was in Panama. I remember before Uber was big, I used taxis a lot. And the taxi drivers would get so mad. I don't know if it's like this in Ecuador, but they would get so mad if I pulled out like a 20, because I also use USD there. And they would just like look at me of like, and I'm just like, why? Because they would never have change. Like, I don't understand what they would do all day long that they would not have change for a $20 bill, but they would just be like, they would just be so mad. Sometimes I'd have to like get out and like go to another taxi driver and ask them if they have change. So it's like a little thing you don't really think about, especially in the US, because everyone has change or everyone has card or, or some app to exchange money. But yeah, having the smaller bills is definitely very helpful, I think, in the Central American and South American countries.
Yeah, I definitely would suggest that here, because there's sometimes they do have change, but like, yeah, if you give them a 20, they're looking at you like,
excuse me.
So yeah, those $5 bills. Even sometimes I give them a 5, and they're like, and I'm like, you're gonna give me a change. So yeah, I've definitely had experiences like that. So yeah, definitely bring the small bills, the small ones.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so now there's like the big question that probably a lot of people are wondering and thinking about. And you can obviously give like a ballpark range or kind of give any insight that you have, but what's the cost of living like in Ecuador?
So Ecuador, so this was when I even saw it on, like, we were planning the interview, I didn't know what to say. Because honestly, for me, my cost of living like has fluctuated a lot within this time. So I would definitely say the cost of living, I mean, I would say you can spend anywhere between about $500 to anywhere for over $1,000. I would say maybe 500 to 1,500 is a good range of like, it really depends on your lifestyle, what you want, what you're looking for. And I definitely suggest to viewers, if you're watching this video, you can check out my cost of living video, living in Manta, Ecuador, because it also depends on which part of Ecuador you're living in. And I think it depends. So check out that video. You can see it in the description or above, where I go into great detail about the cost of living and depending on like your lifestyle and all these different things. So, but I definitely would say anywhere between $500 to $1,500, depending on your lifestyle. But there's also people who, like I said, only make $400 a month, who make away with only that. So it really tells you how like different your lifestyle can be depending on who you are as a person and what you need or want.
Yeah. And I think that's such an important aspect to consider. And I often tell a lot of people this before they move abroad, is to have that idea of like how much you spend on a daily basis, kind of know your cost of living in your home country before you move. And then, like you said, decide what kind of lifestyle that you want. Do you want to live the same way that you did, in the States or for wherever you're from, like going out every night or doing this? Or do you want to live more simple, cooking dinner at home, kind of going out only on occasions and things like that? So I think that is something really important to consider when moving abroad, so that you don't get there and kind of just like, live your life. Yeah. But yeah, so I think that's, just kind of knowing. And I think if you want to live, an expensive life, do it. There's no, live how you want to live. There's no shame, there's no judgment. But just having an idea, I think, can be helpful. And I say that for myself too. Yeah, because I did not do that my first time. I was like, yeah, let's just do all the things. And I was like, oh wait, let's not do all the things.
We can't afford this lifestyle.
Yeah, because you kind of get that. I think it's like that, like vacation kind of mode. You get excited, like you're in a new country, you're meeting new people, everyone wants to go out with you, everyone wants to be your best friend, and you're like, yeah, cool. And then you come back home and look at your bank account and you're like, oh wait.
Like, where did you find out all this about me? Because I don't know how.
I didn't tell you, story.
But like, how are you telling you're telling my story, and I feel
this is my life story too. It is my life story. It is my life story. That's purely
but we're still
my
abroad.
Experience. We're still abroad. That's That's the amazing thing. I think that's good for everyone to know. It's like you can make mistakes too. You can go spend the money and still be okay. Like it's not, we're both here, obviously have a place to live, have internet connection. So we're doing pretty good.
We're doing fine.
We're doing fine.
Definitely.
Okay, so how has your relationship with money changed since living abroad? For example, are you like more aware of your spending? You already kind of had that frugal mentality before you arrived, so are you still as frugal? What are kind of the changes within your relationship with money?
So if I'm being completely transparent, I think my relationship with money has fluctuated because, like I said, I had that very strict mentality. I was very focused. I'm very goal oriented when it came to money. Mm-hmm. And then I came to Ecuador. I kind of went wild. Like I just, it's looking back at it now, I'm kind of like, did I have to? Okay. No, but like, I think like what we were just talking about, that vacation mentality, basically what happened, like there was, an expat family that I know here. Their daughter came here to visit, and we're close in age, so we kind of just like went everywhere together. But she was on vacation. Mm-hmm. I lived here. There's a difference. Like I need people to understand there's a difference between traveling and being an expat, because like the mentality is different. But I kind of thought I was on vacation too. And we were going all the places and eating all the foods and trying all the things, and all those things cost money. And honestly, like if I'm being 100% transparent, in about 5 months, I think I spent about $7,000 to $8,000 in Ecuador.
Okay.
And like that's a lot of money. And I mean, that's maybe not a lot for someone living in the States, but for me, especially in this country, that's a lot. But also taking consideration, I think it's important to mention, like, a lot of that money actually was healthcare. I had a lot of health problems that I was dealing with in the US that I was trying to go to different doctors, things like that. But it's just not affordable. And I kind of took the opportunity that I was here, that I was like, even though like this is money, like I'm spending, like it's 100% a lot more accessible and it's a lot more affordable. I was seeing a physical therapist for $25. I was saw an allergist for $50. Like I knew for the first time, what exactly am I allergic to? Like these are things like, yes, they added up, and yes, like by the end of the month, like I remember one month I had spent like $500 on healthcare, but I was like a lot more clear of what's going on with me and how I'm feeling. So all these things, that money definitely added up, but I think that I don't really have a mentality now of like feeling guilty or like regretting it. I think I just see it like, okay, this happened, whatever, because you can't go back in the past. I can't go back and change it. But what I can do, which is the period I am now, like I changed where I live. So I live in a place that's a little bit more financially, makes more sense. And I wish I did it a while ago, because honestly, I was like, why am I spending this much? I was spending $500 a month on rent. And I'm like, why am I spending this much money? And I know why, because of the security and the safety that I found in that place. But yeah, just like going to a new place, kind of engaging into those budgets and those budget seats and things, like the things I kind of started with that helped me get here, and the things I kind of reverted back to.
Yeah, I love that, because it really shows, and thank you so much for your transparency, but it really just shows that our relationship with money is going to change depending on who we are at that time, where we're living, what we're doing, and that is okay. There is no right or wrong way, but just learning. And that's what you're doing. You're kind of like, okay, I had a little bit of fun there. That was cool. That was nice. But now let me pull it back in. Let me readjust where I'm living. Let me readjust my spending. And that's the process. And that's just what you have to do. It's just, instead of, judging yourself or being hard on yourself from spending a little bit more, just looking at it and saying like, okay, that's what I did. Now, how can I do better next time? Or how can I do things differently next time?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because shame isn't going to help you.
It's not. I think that we always, especially with the money, we always feel so much shame, I think, around money, if we spend too much, if we didn't have enough, and none of that's going to make our bank account grow. And none of those, none of those thoughts of shames are going to actually make things better unless we take action, unless we start to move forward. Yes. So is there any financial advice that you already just dropped so much wisdom and knowledge already, but is there anything else that you would like to give as advice for anyone that's moving abroad? Any kind of tips, financial tips, life tips, anything like that?
I would just definitely, I think my biggest advice is just to plan for the best case scenario, plan for the worst case scenario. I think that's really the biggest thing. And I think that's the game changer is have an exit plan, kind of already figure out if this situation happened, what am I going to do? Because I think for me, that has helped a lot because it's helped me stand. Because like I said, like I spent a lot of money and then I was kind of like I was kind of in a depressive place because I was like, what am I going to do? But because I already solidified in myself, like, like unless like I literally have nothing and there's no other option, I'm going to just figure it out. And I've already had that solidified in me. So that helped me when I was having conversations with people. They're like, oh, just come back to the United States. And I'm like, no, like I said, I didn't come this far to only come this far. So it's like, I'm going to figure out, I'm going to find a way. So figure out what that means for you. Whoever's watching, is that, going back to the US and kind of re-saving and like building up your bank again and leaving again? Is that just staying and figuring it out, whether that's like staying with people you've met or doing work away? Is that like getting a job or whatever that is? Just figure out what that is for you. What is that in your comfort zone or in your abilities? And make sure you have that in your back pocket. So if those moments, even though a lot of times they don't happen, but if they do happen, you already kind of have a toolkit or have a way to figure out what exactly you're going to do.
Yes, excellent. I love that. Thank you so much. And I'm sure that everyone has been loving, whoever's watching this is loving everything that you said. I think there's probably already people that want to move to Ecuador after watching this. So if people want to follow you and follow your adventures and connect with you, how can they do so?
Yes, so I also have a YouTube channel, like I mentioned earlier. You can find me on YouTube at Aminah's Adventures. That's AMINAH apostrophe. Sorry, I'm learning Spanish, so my English
happens
is
to me all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Aminah's Adventures. You can find me on YouTube. Also, you can find me on Instagram, Aminah's_adventures. And yeah, those are my two main platforms. And on my channel, I talk about not only just my journey moving abroad as a solo Black woman, but also just all the challenges, all the greatness that comes with it. And also, I try to help other people and give them resources on moving abroad and things like that as well. So, and thank you so much for having me. Like, I really enjoyed this conversation, and I really hope that whoever's watching this, like, I'm sure they will find a lot of value in it as well.
Absolutely. I'm sure they're going to love this. Yeah, and thank you so much. And I wanted to say something else as you were talking, but I forgot what it is. But I'm just excited to have you, and I learned so much just from your conversation. And yeah, that's what I was going to say. That I will tag all of your social media, and I'll put your YouTube channel in the description so they can just click and subscribe. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.